All right. Let's go to Psalms chapter 44, verse 20.
And we have forgotten the name of our Elohim and stretched out our hands to a strange Elohim. Shall not Elohim search this out, for he knows the secrets of the heart. Yea, for thy sake are we killed all the day long. We are counted as sheep for the slaughter. Awake, why sleep thou, O master? Arise and cast us not off forever. Wherefore hide thou thy face, and forget our affliction and our oppression. For our soul is bowed down to the dust, our belly cleave unto the earth. Arise for our help, and redeem us for thy mercy's sake.
All right. So, what we're going to look at today is two things. For one, I'm going to deal briefly with him being the good shepherd and the qualities of the shepherd. And we're also going to look at something in John chapter 10. What we came here for is right here at verse 21. Let's read it, verse 21.
Shall not Elohim search this out, for he knows the secrets of the heart.
And verse 22.
Yea, for thy sake are we killed all the day long. We are counted as sheep for the slaughter.
All right. So when they say we are counted as sheep for the slaughter, why do y'all feel like we are? Or it says that we are counted as sheep for the slaughter. It's a real basic answer I'm looking for as well. Why are we counted as sheep for the slaughter?
Because we're no shepherd.
Right, because we don't have a shepherd. All right, so that's what we're going to start at first. We're going to look at us having a shepherd and what us having a shepherd is going to mean for us not being scattered and us not being destroyed. So, anybody know what the word for shepherd is? We already looked at it. Ra'ah. All right, so let's look at Ra'ah first. Anybody know the characters for Ra'ah? Right. We got the Rosh, the Ayin, and the Hay. So I'm going to write this down so y'all can see it. We got the Rosh first, which is pretty much, I want to use blue. We got the Rosh, which is pretty much, supposed to be a person's head. And what else we got? The Ayin, which is pretty much an eye. And what else we got? The head. Right. So look at it as Raj, as Ayin, and that's Hay, Ra'ah. So what do y'all see? This is the pictograph one. What do y'all see when y'all see from this picture? From the letters that's showing, that's getting shown. Then we got a head, we got an eye, and then we got a person. And we looking at the word shepherd.
I got like the shepherd is giving us the vision to see the man.
You getting that the shepherd is what?
Giving us, the shepherd is the rosh, the head.
Right.
Giving us the vision, the aim.
Right.
To see behold, hey, the man compared.
Right. Anybody else? That's very good. Anybody else? Y'all see how he getting that? Because when you're looking at it, the head, the shepherd is supposed to be leading you because he's your leader. You're scattered because you don't have a leader. You don't have nobody guiding you or giving you insight or revealing the way that you should go. You get what I'm saying? So the eye is him giving you sight or giving you the vision or leading you in that way. And it's behold, he revealing that to us as the people, as the sheep. Because the sheep, without someone being ahead or in front, because it also means in front or the top, if he's not there guiding and watching your way, how can you be guided? That's like it say when they say the blind lead the blind, they both gonna fall into the ditch. Because if you're following ahead of somebody and they have no vision, you're gonna follow them out of the way, or fall into the ditch, or fall into sin or into unrighteousness. So that's what we're looking at. We're gonna look at the qualities of the shepherd and why the shepherd is supposed to be doing this. When the shepherd is not doing this, what is the state of the sheep? You understand? And then we're gonna look at, like I said, John chapter 10. Let's go to John 10. So we can read that. And that's what we're gonna start looking at, especially what I posted y'all in the chat. When you looking at the words on the app, it's not giving you this, it's gonna give you the modern. So when we translate it from the modern, we're showing y'all the picture format because it's easier for you to get an understanding of what the word is saying. Because the pictures are giving you plain pictures of what it means. So back then when they're looking at it, it just show how their form of learning was. They're able to get insight through what the words mean by what they're seeing on the page, versus now we just see the letters and we have to put those ideas or those concepts with the letters, versus they already come with it. So that's what we're going to try to continue to do as we learn the letters and be able to translate them in the pictograph form. All right. So let's start at the top of John chapter 10.
Truly, truly, I say unto you, he that enter not by the door into the sheepfold, but climb up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber. But he that enter in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. To him the porter opening the sheep hear his voice, and he called his own sheep by name and lead them out.
All right, so let's stop there. I got a quick question. When it says that he that entereth is by the door is the shepherd of the sheep, to him the porter opening, who do y'all think the porter is? Or what is a porter?
I can tell you, we done dealt with it before, which I know you don't remember. I'm dead serious.
No, I know.
You ought to know.
Yeah, that's
Porter is the doorkeeper.
right.
Who are doorkeepers?
Watchmen.
Watchman is not a doorkeeper. Angels are not a doorkeeper. No, it's not a revelation. It's in the law and it's in Chronicles. I know it's been a while. That's why I'm just being that really anal about it. But I'm trying to force you to remember.
Was it the head of the tribes?
No. Think of a shepherd. In the law, who would translate to a shepherd? So the Levites are the porters or the keepers of the door.
So they're the one that was teaching them law.
Absolutely. That's why I said I knew that y'all would remember. That's why I was being that anal, unfortunately.
Thanks for the refreshment.
So the porter, like I said, the porter is the doorkeeper. So back then, the priest would be the people that was keeping to the door to be able to get you to the Father, because he's going to be teaching you and giving you the insight and understanding to get you in the door, because he's the gatekeeper of the door to the Father who is inside the house. Because that's what the gate is for, to get you inside the house. So we see now that Yahushua's come on the scene. He is that high priest. He is the keeper of the door. So he is going to be the person that we have to go through, that is going to give us the insight to allow us to get into the house or get into the door. So that's why I wanted to show that. So making sure you understand that, because it's going to be paramount that y'all see that as we go forward. All right, let's go. Let's read verse 3 and verse 4.
To him the porter opened, the sheep hear his voice, and he called his own sheep by name and lead them out. And when he put forth his own sheep, he go before them, and the sheep follow him, for they know his voice. And the stranger will they not follow, but will flee from him, for they know not the voice of strangers.
All right, so this is what we're going to deal with. We're going to deal with these 5 verses from the top to verse 5. So when we talk about a stranger, they will not follow, but will flee from him, and they know not the voice of strangers. This is showing you how his sheep that are called and chosen are only going to listen to his voice, right? So when we know that they're only going to listen to his voice, that means they're not going to listen to a voice of a stranger. So let's go right here. So when we look at shepherd, that's what I want to show you. Excuse me. Let's look at. I wanted to read y'all shepherd. We went over the letters, but I want to read y'all what it says in the shepherd too. It says to tend to the flock, right? To the graze, to rule. By the extension, it says as a friend, a companion, a company. To use as a friend, to make friendship with, herdsman. So again, also understand that the shepherd is going to be a friend. That means the shepherd is going to show forth the qualities of a friend and that love for the sheep. That's why when we go down and we see what makes him a good shepherd and how do we know that we're going to serve him and not going to hear the voice of strangers, is because we're going to know.
You need to turn that thing so that can be seen.
Oh, okay. All right. So we understand that the shepherd is going to be a friend or show that love that he's supposed to have for the sheep. So that's what we're going to look at when we look at these qualities. So it says, and a stranger they will not follow, but will flee from him, for they know not the voice of strangers. So why wouldn't they know the voice of strangers?
I do have a question for something that you read for you to ask them.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. You said you had a question?
For them, from what you just read, for see if you remember, because we dealt with it last week. Who remembers what that means when it says he goes before them? What word is that? We dealt with it last week. That's the only reason why I'm asking. Well, y'all ponder upon that. Continue on, sir.
All right. Let's go to Psalms 58:3.
The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies.
So let's stop there. So we see that the wicked are estranged from the womb. So when we go back to what it says here, it says, a stranger they will not follow, but will flee from him, for they know not the voice of strangers. It said the wicked are estranged from the womb. We look at this word estranged, that just means a foreigner or a stranger or adultery. You see that? Or to turn aside. So that means those who are righteous are going to hear the voice of the shepherd, and they're going to know the voice of the shepherd. That means they're going to be able to be led. But the wicked are already estranged from the womb. Why is the wicked estranged from the womb? And this goes with something we were just talking about last night. Why are the wicked estranged from the womb? No, it's not that simple. What's going to cause them to be estranged or astray or follow after strange gods or strange things or things other than Elohim?
What did we read in Numbers chapter 11 last night? What did we read about?
Right, their desires. Exactly. Their desire is not going to be led. Their desire is not going to be the Elohim. Their desire is not going to be able to get to the kingdom or get to that door or be in the way. So we got to see the same thing. If you want to follow that shepherd, your desires are going to have to be to this man. And that's how you're going to know who to follow. Because if you are desiring your flesh, guess what? You're going to be estranged. You're going to start following after strange things that are not of Elohim. And that is how you're going to be able to cause to go astray. And that's what we were talking about last night when he said, all of us have been astray and drawn to our lusts at some point in time. We all have done that. So the whole point is us desiring him and desiring his name, we will always hear his voice. And if you always hear his voice, you'll be able to have that spirit in you to where you won't sin and you'll be perfect because you'll hear this man's voice at all times. Do what you need to be doing.
I'm glad you said that. Now the question gets asked again. What is the word for he goes before them? For fresh your memory, we pulled that word out of Numbers 27 and 17 last week when we were talking about a shepherd. I don't remember which day of the week it was, but that's where we pulled it from. Does anyone remember? Does anyone know the Hebrew word for face? Panim is that word. Could you draw it for them, sir? Because it goes along with what you're talking about. And then you can do what you do for them.
Well, I got a canvas for that.
What's the word again?
Panim. We talked about it.
Right.
That is correct. That is correct, sir.
Or is that
Not on the last one. It's Panim, so.
oh, that's the name?
Correct, sir. Correct.
Space.
I said Chinese.
Oh. That's why the only reason like this because I want y'all to remember that because we just talked about it last week. When it said he goes before them.
I'm writing right now.
I want y'all to remember that. Every time you read that in this book.
So that's the word kind of.
When you see that.
Is it M-A-N?
Every time you see that Panim, and when he's talking about that shepherd and he say he goes before them, that's what I want your mind to click on when you see that, and not the phrase go before them. You know what I mean? But Numbers 27 and 17 is the reference point. got the name.
7-11.
17.
Huh?
You can figure however you want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You do your thing.
And when I'm writing these characters, I'm only gonna be giving the main letter of the sound that is made. So that's how, and that's another reason. That's another way that you're gonna be able to kind of sound the words out. Because in English, it's giving you like panim is probably like 6 or 7 letters in the English, but in the Hebrew, it's only 4 characters. You get what I'm saying? So you have to sound it out like that. So the pa is pa, na, e, panim. So you won't have the A because it's no olive, it's no iron. Those letters, I don't want y'all to have to look for those letters in the word because they make that sound. And as we continue to study them, y'all gonna start to see that. So don't get caught up in the English or how it's spelled when you're looking at it in the app. You have to look at the actual characters so you can have an understanding of what it means. Because you're looking at what it means, not necessarily the letters that you see in English. All right. So that was face. And that was to go forth.
Go before.
Okay. So definitely. So yeah, that put us back at John chapter 10 and verse 4. That's what that said. And we read that psalm to show you that the stranger are estranged from the womb, meaning they will always be drawn by their desires. So guess what? It says here
And
at
when
5. Yeah, go ahead.
And when he put forth his own sheep, he go before them, and the sheep follow him, for they know his voice.
Right. So you going after your desires, you're not going to be able to hear this man's voice. Point blank, period. So that's why we're saying that if you're estranged from the womb, you automatically are going to listen to the voice of strangers or listen to yourself or be guided by your own selfish desires. You get what I'm saying? Because as a sheep for a slaughter, that's how you become that. You become that sheep for the slaughter because you going off of the strange voices or you going off of your flesh. You're being led by your own ambitions or strangers versus them being led by Elohim or going back, he said, the God of your belly, which is yourself. So you're going to follow that versus when he's trying to hear your voice or guide you back into the fold or bring you back to him, you're not going to hear that voice because you're going to be going off the voices in your head or going off of your desires because your desires are not to him. That's why we going on this point that we've been going on is, being desirous of this man's name and being focused and caught up on doing his desires so that you can know him and so that you can get his spirit. Because you're not going to be able to get his spirit desiring things that are of your flesh. All right. So let's look at this. So y'all go take a stab at it. Just looking at the pictures that you got here.
That's y'all. Y'all handle that.
Yeah.
That first one, what y'all get from that?
And we always go from this way to this way because that's how we read.
That's the pot. What does that look like to you? I would give you that. I would definitely would. That's supposed to be a mouth.
Right. It's a mouth. But that's why. But at the same time, look. That's why. At the same time, that's why you have to remember what the word means. What does pa mean? Regardless of that, what does pa mean? Mouth.
It means mouth.
It means mouth. So you already have a clue what the picture is if you know what it means, because we haven't been dealing with the picture. So let's just deal with what we know the letter means.
I know where y'all know that second one is. Yeah.
Right. So if we're looking at the noon, what does noon mean outside the picture? We talk about it. What does noon mean? Seed, life. So what do you think this is? A picture of? Right, a sperm cell, really like a semen, life.
It's really
seed.
semen right there.
Seed. That's what.
Don't shake your head. That's what it is.
That's what the picture is. So you understanding that it's life, the continuation of life.
Don't act like you never
that's
seen
what
no
you're
semen.
seeing in the picture. Right. So that's why I want y'all to tie in what you know the letter means to the picture. So what does Yah mean? Hand. So that's literally an arm and a hand. Right? And what does Mem mean? Water. So that's literally a wave, a ripple of water. So now that we understanding what the words mean, we got to tie it back into the picture so we can see. So now we got the mouth or the opening, the seed or life, the hand, and the water.
Yes. This is not like English.
Right. It's very
or Spanish.
It's way more in depth than that.
Honestly, I don't think there's any other language in the history of mankind that their alphabets have a meaning to them.
So, but that's not spelling the word. It is spelling.
That is spelling. When you look at that, you'll see panem. Then when
word,
and then there's a message inside of the word.
So, just like I was talking to them last night about, this is what I encourage everybody to do, and that's why I put that in the group.
On that one, though, we have to bring them along. That's a lot on their plate.
Yeah. I'm just giving y'all so that when you see this, you're not as confused, because you really need to study this on your own. Each letter you need to spell out on your own so that you understand that each letter is a word. It'll help you understand it better. Because the pa alone is a word. The noon alone is a word.
That's why I sent y'all that Lamar, and that's probably what threw y'all off. Because each character, you can spell each character. We did it before a long time ago. But you can spell them out.
Right. So now we back on understanding what we see as panim, the mouth or the seed or the hand in the water. So that's what I'm saying. Back to my question. If we know that this is to go before, what are we seeing in these characters for somebody to go before? After we already saw what we know the shepherd is supposed to be doing, versus off what we saw for shepherd.
I got everything besides the mouth.
You know, we talked about this last week, so your memory should be good.
I got,
So go ahead.
What you got, Stan?
I got the right hand, the water. I don't know how to type the word, but all I know, I got the right hand, gonna speak.
To make it easier, y'all, read the verse where it come from. Read the verse.
We're at John chapter 10 and 4.
The verse is telling you.
So the mouth is the voice.
Okay, yeah, because that's the first letter. And it's not always in order, but that's the first letter.
Yeah, the right hand, you gonna know the right hand.
Follow him.
Right, so look.
What you got, Darius?
I was the right hand open his mouth to get to see the ruach. I don't know how to say it, but
I mean, it's close. I mean, we're not. Your sentence doesn't have to be perfect. We just need the gist.
Right. And the overall gist is what you're getting is that this man is going to lead you through his voice. If you're hearing his voice, he's going to lead you, because that's what the hand is for. He's the strong hand. He's going to lead you and guide you so that you can be that seed, so you can get the water. And what's the water? The what? The ruach, or everlasting life. So that's what the water is symbolizing for. We talked about that with the fountains of water. So if you're hearing his voice, he's going to lead you and guide you so that you can be his seed, so you can inherit that life or get that spirit.
Or you could look at it as the seed of the right hand hears his voice to life. And that's what John 10 and 4 was telling you. That's why when you see that before them, they hear my voice, and there it is.
Right. Because how do we know that we're the seed of the right hand, or who the seed of the right hand is? We just read it going back to Psalms. We know that the seed of the wicked are estranged from the womb. So we know that the seed of the wicked are going to they're going to follow the desires of their heart, versus the seed of the right hand, or the seed of Elohim is going to what? Seek out the voice of the shepherd. Seek out the voice of the shepherd so they can get the spirit, or get into the door, get that life, or get to the water. You understand? So when we know that he's going before doing that, speaking the words, so that the seed can follow him. You get what I'm saying? But you have to be seeking his voice. You understand? And you can't be going after your hearts and your desires. All right. So let's keep reading.
And a stranger will they not follow, but will flee from him, for they know not the voice of strangers.
Mm-hmm.
This parable spake Yahushua unto them, but they understood not what things they were which he spake unto them. Then said Yahushua unto them again, Truly, truly, I say unto you, I am the door of the sheep. All that ever came before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not hear them. I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out and find pasture. The thief come not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly.
Stop right there. All right. So now let's deal with this thief, because it said thief 3 times. And it said it in verse, it said a thief and a robber. They come down here and say, all that came before me are thieves and robbers. Thank you. And then at 10 it say the thief come not but to steal, kill, and destroy. So let's stop and deal with the thief. But let's go to Jeremiah chapter 2.
Jeremiah chapter 2.
Mm-hmm. Go to Jeremiah chapter 2. It's saying, and go to verse 26.
As a thief is ashamed when he is found, so is the house of Yasharal ashamed. They, their kings, their princes, their priests, and their prophets, saying, to a stock, thou art my Abba, and to a stone thou hast brought me forth. For they have turned their back unto me, and not their face. But in the time of their trouble they will say, arise and save us. But where are thy gods that thou made thee? Let them arise if they can save thee in the time of thy trouble. For according to the number of thy cities are thy gods, O Yehuda.
All right, so let's stop there. We're going to tie that back in because we see these same words right here. So let's deal with the first word, which is thief. All right? Let's deal with thief. The word for thief is Ganab. Ganab. Huh? No. What does anybody know what the gamal mean? You can use foot or what else?
To walk.
Or to what? And take away. That don't know.
Yeah. Said to carry.
To carry, right? To carry away. Yeah, to carry away. To take, to travel, to move. Seed, we already know that's seed, and what's the bet? What's that?
The house.
The house. So this is just right or inside, or the house within. All that is what that means. So this is just to go within.
The thief that took the seed from the house.
Right. The thief is come to carry the seed away from the house. So if you're supposed to be trying to get into the Father's house, or get into the gate, or get into the sheepfold, the thief is coming to carry you away, carry the seed, Elohim, away from the house. That's all the thief comes to do, to steal, kill, and destroy. That's what it says. So when we're looking at that, that's the thief's whole objective. You understand that? That's how you see that when they're looking at these words, they seeing that. So you know if the thief is supposed to carry away, let's look at the contents of the verse now. Now that we see that. It says the thief is ashamed when he is found, so is the house of Yasharal ashamed, they, their kings, and their princes, saying to the stock or to the stick, thou art my father, saying to the stone, thou hast brought me forth, for they have turned their back unto me, and not their face, but in the time of trouble they will say, arise and save us. So now we're looking at it as, we see that as a people, we stop seeking this man's face. Why do we stop seeking this man's face? Our desires. And now we're looking at going to the thief. Who should talk about the thieves being in the context of what we read in? Right, the chief priests and Pharisees. How are they the thief?
They was taking them away from.
They trying to carry the people away from getting into the house, right? So then we're going back to the shepherd. That's how we're going to get back to the shepherd. Because a shepherd that is not leading the people in righteousness or leading people in the way of righteousness is a thief. That's all a bad shepherd is. That's all a false shepherd is. Because that's what the scribes and Pharisees were. They trying to be shepherds or to come in the appearance that they are the ones that are supposed to be leading you to Elohim when they're really the ones that's trying to carry you away. You understand? But guess what? Those who are wicked and estranged from the womb are what? Going to be carried away by the thief. Because their desires are not with Elohim. And that's what we're showing you when we talk about him saying anybody that try to come another way is a thief and a robber. What's another way they trying to come? These shepherds. Now we're looking at it in the tense of John chapter 10, looking at it as those false shepherds or those thieves are the scribes and Pharisees and the false priests. How are they trying to get in another way?
They're trying to push
They're not trying to go through the head.
Right. They not trying to go through Yahushua. They trying to go through the law and go through other ways to try to get the people off track and off straight to get the house. It's only one way to get in the house. We read that. Any man that don't come through the shepherd is a thief and a robber. So when we look at that, now we can see in the context of there's always been thieves outside of the Pharisees, the false prophets. We all read the woe to the pastors and the false shepherds, because their whole purpose and agenda has been to try to carry the people away or lead the people astray and stray them from getting to the house. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So when we looking at that, that's what your desires are going to do. It don't necessarily have to be no person or you listening to no false preacher or teacher. You could be sitting there listening to the word of righteousness and being carried off by the thief, which is yourself, because you serving the God of your belly and you doing the things that you want to do versus following the head, which is the Mashiach. Because if you supposed to be following after him, walking as he walked, how you getting carried off by yourself? How you not a sheep that's going astray when this man already telling you what to do and you know exactly what to do? Because you getting carried away by your own lust. It say every man is enticed by his own lust. So we already see that your desires is what's going to cause you to be a sheep without a shepherd. You can't get it twisted thinking it's going to be somebody else, or that voice of that stranger going to be you listening to somebody else. It's going to be yourself, especially once you already know the word, because we already passed that point. We know what's right and what's wrong. We know what the word is. We know the keys and the resources that we got to get salvation. So how could any other person come in here and tell us different besides ourselves? Because the main thing that's going to stop people from getting in is their own self. It's not going to be no false person coming in and straying you. It's going to be you want to do what you want to do and you're going to do it. Because that's what it says. So if you feel like you can still finesse your way in, you a thief and a robber, and you only deceiving yourself. Right? So now we can go back to what it say. What's the thief going to be though? Let's read 26 again. It says, as the thief is ashamed when he is found, so the house of Yasharal is ashamed, they and their kings and their priests and their prophets. Why are you going to be ashamed? Because you already know. Because when he comes, you're going to be naked. You're going to be exposed. You're going to be shamed. Because you know you had them followed after your lust and not followed after him. Because you're going to be caught. And you're going to be out there. Matter of fact, let's go back to John 10. We're going to read that. We're going to jump down and we're going to come back. Because we still got to deal with this thief some more. Alright.
The thief come not to, but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly. I am the good shepherd, and the good shepherd give his life for the sheep. But he that is a hireling and not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not, see the wolf coming and leave the sheep and flee, and the wolf catch them and scatter the sheep. The hireling flee because he is a hireling and care not for the sheep.
Alright, so let's start right there. So now we're finna deal more with the hireling too. So when we look at the hireling is not the shepherd. The hireling is what? What's a hireling? We done dealt with this before too. What's the hireling?
Most of you in here are a hireling. You're a paid employee.
Paid employee. So that means that the hireling is somebody who is what? Paid to watch the sheep. So it's pretty much saying somebody that's getting paid to watch the sheep, right? But he that is a hireling is not the shepherd, whose own sheep are not. He seeth the wolf coming and leave the sheep and fleeth, and the wolf catches them and scatters the sheep. We can also look at that the same way, because it's going to be people out here or these false shepherds, and we're going hold on, let me put this real quick.
You know, the best way to look at a hireling is, how many of y'all done been at a job and somebody was working and you were like, nigga, you going too hard, it ain't yours. That's how false shepherds feel. When it's yours, you go a whole lot harder when you own it.
And then look at the job. People tend to go harder for a job that they feel like they're getting more compensated for. versus the person working at McDonald's or the person that's getting that salary pay. 9 times out of 10, that person that's getting that salary pay and good benefits gonna go a tad bit harder than the dude that feel like he got nothing to lose because he's working for $8-9 an hour at the Bag and Happy Meal. You get what I'm saying? So when we look at that, the false shepherds or those who are not shepherds, you just hireling, you're in it for the game. Because that's what everybody pretty much got a job for. You need the money. You in it for the game. You in it for what you can get out of it. You get what I'm saying? And that's not Yahushua. That's not how the shepherd served the sheep. Because we know that the shepherd supposed to serve the sheep. He out in the front. He going out before us. You get what I'm saying? He putting himself on the front lines. And that's what we already read. That the shepherd, what? He give his life for the sheep. You get what I'm saying? Ain't nobody that's hired or in it for the gain is going to give their life for the sheep. Put themselves on the line for the sheep. They not going to do that because it's not their sheep. That's what it said. He said, because he that is a hireling is not the shepherd, whose own sheep they are not. Just like he said, it's not your job, it's not your workplace, it's not your building, these not your sheep. Why would you lay your life down? You get what I'm saying? But you got a lot of people out here following hirelings, people who have set themselves up as shepherds when they're really just hirelings because what? They doing it for the gain. And the gain don't always have to be money. The gain could be the esteem they feel like they getting from people, the name, the reputation, they pride, them feeling like they're getting gain from the people by being able to put themselves over the people. Because the shepherd don't lead like that. That's not how the true shepherd gonna lead the people. The true shepherd gonna lead the people by example and not for gain. You get what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, he talk about this all the time. If somebody is in that position that you over a flock or over a congregation of people, what gain is the shepherd really getting besides ensuring that all his sheep enter into the fold? You're not getting no money out of it. You're not getting nothing back from the people from it. You're not getting nothing back from the sheep in return. You laying down your life on your own so that you can ensure the safety of your people. This is what the Mashiach did. Because he didn't get any gain. And we're going to see what the shepherd is supposed to be doing to show that he's leading that example to being able to lay down his life and do the things that the sheep need to ensure that they're going to make it into the fold or into the kingdom, into the gate. All right. Let's go to Zechariah chapter 11. All right, and let's go to verse 16.
For lo, I will raise up a shepherd in the land which shall not visit those that be cut off, neither shall seek the young one, nor heal that is broken, nor feed that stands still. But he shall eat the flesh of the fat and tear their claws in pieces. Woe to the idle shepherd that leave the flock. Sword shall be upon his arm, and upon his right eye his arm shall be clean dried up, and his right eye shall be utterly darkened.
All right, so we're going to look at some of these characters. We're going to look at some of these same words. He said he's going to raise up a shepherd which shall not visit or go before those that be cut off, neither shall he seek the young one or heal that is broken, feed that standeth still, but he shall eat or devour and tear in pieces the sheep. That's what it's saying. That's what this shepherd going to do. So this is what the false shepherd is going to do. These are the qualities he's going to do. What does he say he's not going to do? He's not going to what? Heal that is broken. Right. So we know that the Mashiach said he the good shepherd. He laid down his life for the sheep. Did we see him healing what is broken?
Yeah.
Do we see him what? Feeding them that stand still? We see that. Let's look at that. Let's go to Matthew. We see him doing these things that the false shepherd or the idol shepherd or the thief is not going to be doing. So it's easy for you to be able to recognize who he's sending to be that shepherd and who is the false shepherd and who is the thief. All right. Let's go to Matthew chapter 27. 25. Let's read 25.
Then answered all the people and said, his blood be on us and on our children. Then he released.
No, that's not that. I'm sorry. Hold on. We go to John 15. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Luke 9:11. That's what we. I'm sorry. I got thrown off. I was looking at something else. I'm sorry. We're looking at him healing and feeding the people. That's what we're looking at. I got sidetracked. My bad. So, yeah, Luke chapter 9, verse 11.
And the people, when they knew it, followed him, and he received them and spake unto them of the kingdom of Elohim, and healed them that had need healing. And when the day began to wane away, then there came the 12 and said unto him, Send the multitude away, that they may go into towns round about and lodge and get victuals, for we are in a desert place. But he said unto them, Give ye them to eat. And they said, We have no more but 5 loaves and 2 fishes, except we should go and buy meat for all this people.
So start right there. What the disciples were trying to do to these people after he done healed them? Send them away. But he already said that he the good shepherd. So he's not going to be here healing the flock and being there for the flock and not do what the shepherd supposed to do. Because we just seen the false shepherd is not healing the people, not feeding the people. So we see that he fulfilling this because he's doing this because he's showing that he is who he say he is. So what he tell the disciples to go do? 13.
But he said unto them, Give ye them to eat. And they said, We have no more but 5 loaves and 2 fishes, except we should go buy meat for all this people. And for they were about 5,000 men. And he said to his disciples, Make them sit down by 50s in a company. And they did so and made them all sit down. Then he took the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes, and looking up to Shamahim, he baruched them and brake and gave to the disciples to set before the multitude. And they did eat and were all filled, and they were taken up of fragments that remained to them 12 baskets.
Right. So we're looking at that. We're looking at that this man came and he healed those that were broken. He fed those that need to be fed. Matter of fact, let's go back to the verse because it said those that remain still. Let's go back and look at that. That's Zechariah 11. 11 and 16.
For lo, I will raise up a shepherd in the land which shall not visit those that be cut off, neither shall they seek the young one, nor heal that is broken, nor feed that stands still, but he shall eat the flesh of the fat and their claw and tear their claws in pieces.
All right, so what y'all think with me when you say those that stand still? What you think it mean? He said he gonna feed those that stand still.
I would say it's in the middle of choosing a thing. Choosing if they will serve all the things, serve themselves.
Look the word up. That's what you should do.
It say, and the young one, nor heal that is broken, nor feed that stands still. Because we already know when we talk about feed, we're not just talking about him giving people no bread. Because the shepherd is going before. Yeah, we was looking at Luke and we going back and looking at Zechariah 11 because we seeing how the Mashiach was doing these things that this idol shepherd was not doing. And we saying that the idol shepherd is not feeding them that stand still. And I'm asking you, what does it mean when they say you standing still on him feeding them?
I was going to say the ones that was in darkness.
What did you see? Did you look at the word?
No, I ain't looking at it.
Just look the word up. Don't guess.
I got a Bible, I don't got my phone.
Oh,
yeah, don't guess.
Take one stand, stand what right. He said established.
Right. That's what I'm looking at. To establish who is appointed or those that are established. So when we're looking at that, we're looking at those who are supposed to hear his voice. Because guess what? If you hear his voice, that means he gonna go before you.
Somebody that don't.
If you hear his voice, that means he gonna go before you. And if he going before you, he giving you the word. So he feeding you the word, he giving you the bread. So when we're looking at that, the false shepherd is not gonna be able to bring forth the word to you that you can be established. You understand? Because those that stand still is saying that means to be established. So he's not able to give them the food that they need for them to be established. You understand? Because if you get the words of eternal life, it's supposed to establish you in your faith, that you have the faith that you're supposed to have, that you can be able to enter into this man's rest. So that's what we're looking at. The false shepherd is not going to feed you. He's not going to give you all the necessity things that you need to be able to get your soul saved, because he was not sent. He was not chosen to do that job. He is a hireling. He's doing that job for gain. He's doing that job for whatever the reason that he's doing it, and he's not doing it for the benefit of the sheep. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So we doing that to identify signs and seeing in people and in situations of how people are drawn away by their own lust, because the people are going to be led by people who are in it for their own gain. But the people that's going to follow after them are going to be the people that want to follow after their own desires. You understand what I'm saying? It's always going to go back to that. And that's how you're going to be able to see and discern who is really for Elohim and who really is not, based on their desires and based on what are they trying to get out of this. You understand? What are you trying to get out of this? Are you really trying to get saved? Are you doing this for faith? What are you really doing it for? And those shepherds, their flock is going to be conducive to what they lead and what they stand for. And that's why I'm telling y'all, in this point where we at collectively, that's what we looking at. We looking at, are we doing everything we need to do to make sure that we following after the good shepherd? Are we possessing the qualities that this man have? Are we doing the things that he would want us to do? That's what we looking at. So let's go. We already read Luke 9. Let's go back to John chapter 10. All right. So, all right. So we see that the idol shepherd is not going to do the things that the sheep need to be done for him to show forth that he is supposed to be sent. So we looking at those qualities. So the main thing we're going to see is right here at verse 14. Let's read 14 and 15 of John chapter 10.
I am the good shepherd, and know my sheep, and are known of mine. As Abba know me, even so know I Abba, and I lay down my life for the sheep. Mm-hmm. And other sheep I have which are not of this fold, them also must I bring, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd. All right,
so before we go to the others I have in one fold, let's address that he's laying down for. He said, as the Father knoweth me, even I, the Father, lay down my life for the sheep. Where do we see that at? When he say, I'll lay down my life for the sheep. Or why would he lay down his life for the sheep? Why would he lay down his life for the sheep? Something more simpler than that. Well, we read this verse all the time.
Oh, he that laid down his life for his friend?
Yeah, exactly. Let's go to John 15. Exactly. He loved his sheep. And we already know there's no greater love than what? Exactly. So we already looked at shepherd. That's why we're at shepherd. It says shepherd what? It's the friend or the companion. Right. So we're looking at the same thing. A friend or a companion is not your friend for gain. Your friend is a friend because they love you and they want the best for you. And the sheep is going to lay down his life for that, and he's going to show them qualities. So let's look at that. That's why he said what he said right here, John chapter 15.
A greater love have no man than this, that a man lay his life down for his friends.
And then read 13 and 14. 14 and 15.
You are my friends if you do so whatsoever I command you. Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant know not what his master do. But I've called you friends, for all things I heard of my Abba I have made known unto you.
Right. So now we know that. How do we know that we following after the good shepherd? To go back to that, he's going to tell us what he's doing and what we need to do. He's not hiding nothing from us. The shepherd is clearly transparent on the expectations for his sheep, and he's going to do it first. He laid down his life first, and he expects his sheep to lay down their life also if they expect to get into the sheepfold. It's a twofold thing. And he already knows that. That's why the sheep going to hear his voice and follow him, and they're going to do as he says. So that's why I want to tie that back in, is the shepherd being that companion or being that friend, because the shepherd is going to lay down his life. That hireling is not a friend, because the hireling is doing it to get paid or doing it for their benefit. And then it already say they not over the sheep. They're not his sheep. We know that we supposed to be the sons, and that go back to the shepherd going before us. We the seeds. So that means we're the sons. We're the offspring of the right hand, and he's going to speak the words that we need to hear so that we can enter in. So not only does it say, y'all not my servant, but y'all my friends, but we know that if we are following the example of the shepherd, we are his sons and daughters. That's why he laying down his life for us, because he loves us. But if we not doing what he telling us to do, like it just said, how can we be his friend, or how can we say that we love him? And that go back to your love for him is going to show your desire for him. Or like we talk about the whole point of us being in the marriage and saying that we're married to this man. If you say you love somebody, you're going to do those things that show forth your love for him. Your desires is going to be to your husband. And if we're his wife, our desires to be to him. So we would want to do the things that he wants us to do and the things that he's telling us to do, so that we can be accepted of him when he comes back. Y'all understanding that? Because that's the whole point. That's the whole thing we waiting on. We those virgins or that bride waiting to be married. Like it's saying in Revelation, like it's saying in John, these things that we supposed to be doing, Matthew, these things we supposed to be doing is supposed to show forth that we're that faithful bride waiting to do everything we need to do to enter in that door, to enter in that marriage, so we can be found as this man's wife or his sheep. All the parables are bringing forth that your dedication and your desire should be to him, because he's leading you. He's doing all these things to show that he loves you. What are you going to do to show him that you love him? You understand? Because that equates on not just a spiritual scale, but a natural scale too. Because we all, you know what I'm saying, if those that are not married, you want to be married, you want to have that same type of relationship. That relationship should be reciprocated. If you saying that you a son of Elohim, that relationship should be reciprocated in the way you treat your wife and the way you treat your husband. It's all the same. So those qualities that's shown in the word, we need to be showing those qualities here on earth, because it's the same thing. If you can't be faithful to your wife, how you gonna be faithful to Elohim? You can't be faithful to your husband, how you gonna be faithful to Elohim? It's the same stuff we already talk about, but it's just we seeing it. All right. So that was John 15. Let's go back to Zechariah 11. I didn't show that. When he said he gonna cut off, he said he's gonna cut off the arm, because that's gonna go back to playing to the hand. Let's just read that last verse. Zechariah chapter 11, verse 7.
Woe to the idle shepherd that leads the flock. The sword shall be upon his arm and upon his right eye. His arm shall be clean dried up, and his right eye shall be utterly darkened.
All right. So what's that word for arm? What's not arm, but what's the word for eye? Ayin. So the same character that's right here in the shepherd. All right. So when we say he gonna cut off that eye, let's also look at this. It said he gonna cut off his arm, and upon his right eye, his arm shall be clean dried up. So when we're looking at that right arm is what? Yamin, or the Yah, like Ben Yamin, son of my right hand, or my right arm. That is what that's talking about right now. That's that word. That's there, Yamin. So that's showing you that he gonna cut off that eye and he gonna cut off that arm. What we gonna see in that is the Yah and the Noon, or for that seed. You get what I'm saying? So we showing how the seed, or the false or the idol shepherd, he say the sword gonna be upon the arm and the right eye, and the arm is gonna be clean dried up. His right eye should be utterly darkened. This talking about his seed being cut off, his posterity being cut off. But that's another that's what the character Yah mean too. It means like your literal arm, your reproductive. That's why that word Yamin also means that, right? So when we look at that, his arm and his eye being cut off, he no longer gonna be able to lead his seed, and his seed gonna be cut off or wiped out. The sword shall be upon that arm and upon that right eye. So it's showing you that he gonna cut them off and cut off those seeds and cut off those people who are from that false shepherd. So the idol, right? We already know vain or idol, right? Bring to naught. So the idol is gonna go back to what's in your mind, and that's why I was showing you that the idol shepherd is not always a physical person. Tying that back to you serving yourself, right? And your seed being cut off, showing forth how if you going after your desires, how it's going to affect your seed and your offspring. You understand? But just like we saw the Pharisees and the other people that wanted this man dead, they said what? What? Let the blood be on our kids. Let the blood be on our kids. You know what I'm saying? So it's showing you how them following after that, killing this man, killing the shepherd, is going to show how it's going to bring that back upon your seed. And have you cut off, and then have your people cut off. We see several times in the scripture all these people being cut off because of their sins, and their family being cut off because of their sins. So we're looking at that the same way, following after that shepherd. So you're not going to be able to get into that door or get into that following after your flesh or following after a false shepherd or somebody that's leading you away from the word. That's what I want to bring on that. So let's go to let's go back to John chapter 10. That's what I want. I got 3 more verses I want to get out. We were talking about the other sheep I have which are not of this fold. Let's read that verse 16.
The other sheep I have which are not of this fold, them also must I bring, that they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd.
Keep going.
Therefore doth my Abba love me, because I lay down my life, that I might take it again. No man take it from me, but I lay it down of myself. I have power to lay it down, and I have power to take it again. This commandment I received of my Abba.
All right. So now we're seeing that the other sheep I have which are not of this fold, them I must also bring. They shall hear my voice, and they shall be one fold and one shepherd. That go back to him bringing us all together under one shepherd. Those people that are not a Yasharal, and that's what we're going to see is going to be the vision amongst the Yahudim right there, because he bringing in other sheep that are not of our fold. And that go back to, people saying, what the scriptures say that he not come from the lost sheep of the house of Yasharal. It's showing forth that us as a people, how we were stiff-necked, and that other sheep he gonna have to bring in.
That other sheep is Israel.
What you mean?
Go read Ezekiel 37. That's not Gentiles. Right?
When they say other sheep that's not of this fold,
Yeah, that's not Gentiles.
that's him divorcing us? Amen.
That's Israel. He only came to Judah. Israel wasn't there. That's Ezekiel 37.
I said Gentiles? I said other nations.
Go ahead, Stan.
I was gonna say with that, I thought it was like people that was not in the house, like the Gentiles and all that.
That's Ezekiel 37.
No, he's saying that he came to Judah first, the Yahudim. That's why I said it was divisions amongst the Yahudim. So he's talking about the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
That's why I say we done read this book. It's Ezekiel 37. You can read that on your own time.
Oh, with Ephraim. So that's not talking about the Gentiles.
Not at all.
He said he's talking about Yasharal.
I was saying you got to go read Ezekiel 37 on your own time, and you will see. Then you will see that what he said right here, that Ezekiel told you this word for word.
And the reason why I said that, I think about Genesis 29 with the 3 folds, I thought that was Israel, Judah, and Gentiles.
That is correct. But in this instance right here, that's not what he's talking about. Because he didn't come to die for no Gentiles, so therefore they wouldn't be of that fold to bring them in. On top of that, the Gentiles wouldn't know his voice because they never had a shepherd to begin with, nor did they never have any word for them to follow. Also taking in context that Yasharal was not present in the land at the time of his arrival, so he had to go get them. And you take John chapter 11, verse 49, when the Kaphia states clearly that he has to gather in the children of Elohim that are scattered abroad, so the whole nation don't perish.
But I said Gentiles?
Yeah, and other nations.
But that was my mistake. Cause I definitely, that was my mistake. Cause I definitely didn't know that. I didn't realize I said Gentiles. But the other nations that we talking about is the other nations of Yasharal. And that's why I was going to say it was divisions amongst the Yahudim, because they didn't understand how all the nations of Yasharal that was scattered abroad were going to be brought back. And then that go back to what it was saying in Acts, where it talk about will you then bring all the nations back together, or will we be one kingdom again? And Yasharal, because they know that he was supposed to come unite the kingdom and us being one kingdom again. So he definitely is right. But, and I apologize for that. But also it say that, therefore doth my Father love me, because I lay down my life that I might take it again. That's the same example that we showing forth as far as when they say us laying down our life as the shepherd did. And when we laying down our life, it's those desires that we talking about that we supposed to be laying down, so that we may be loved by the Father like the Son was loved by the Father. Because the Son was loved by the Father because in all things he put down his desires. And we already know that because we've seen that. So all the desires he put down as far as him not wanting to die, you know what I'm saying? All the things that he saw in his flesh and all the things that he overcame in his flesh, all those same things we're going to want to overcome so we can have that man's spirit. Alright. So when we go from there, let's go to oh, y'all know what I want. I'm sorry. I broke my notes ugly. This is a point I missed on the thief. Breaking this down. Let's go back down to verse 9. Let's go back to verse 9, and then from there, we're going to go to Psalms 29 and 15. Verse 9, John 10 and verse 9.
I am the door by me. If any man enter in, he shall be saved and shall go in and out and find pasture. The thief come not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly.
All right, let's go to Psalm 29 real quick. 29 and 15.
And there's no 15 verses in there, so. Live like they're falling out.
Come here. Come here. Come here. What's wrong? Okay.
Nigga told on you, Lee.
Okay. You gotta stop trying.
She said you mean. You being mean, Lee?
That's where I put it.
You being mean, Lee. Malia said so. Mordecai, back up.
All right.
And this nigga
I'm
right
just
here.
gonna scratch down. Let's go to Matthew 23. Matthew 25 with me. We still holding John 10 because I wanted to show something else about that thief, but I lost what I had. I don't know what I said. I ain't finna waste time looking for it. Alright. Let's go to 25 and let's go to verse.
Why you let that baby fall? It's your fault. That boy hurt too. You how long that hold that breath? I don't mean nothing.
Let's read it at the top.
Nigga always claiming somebody a boy.
Matthew 25.
Like that ground didn't hurt his head. Nigga head ain't that big. Yeah, well, I want y'all to say that when one of them girls hit their head. She a girl. Let her cry. Nah, that ain't the truth. That ground hurt. That ground hurt. What? Like that nigga follow them type of commands. Nigga don't even know how to not poop on himself. Talking about he think he just gonna say, well, it's time to go to bed. That nigga, that hard. Then shall the kingdom of Shamahin be likened unto 10 virgins which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. And 5 of them were wise and 5 were foolish. And they that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them, but the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom come, go ye out to meet him. Then all these virgins arose and trimmed their lamps, and the foolish said unto the wise, Give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out.
All right, so start right there. This is the question I had. At verse 6, it said, At midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom coming, and ye goeth out to meet him. When it say it was a cry made at midnight, what do y'all think that represents? Trumpet being blown. What do you think of it? All right, let's go to Thessalonians chapter 2. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. In a minute. All right, so let's read it from the top.
But of the times and the seasons, brethren, you have no need that I write unto you, for you yourselves know perfectly that the day of the master so come as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction come upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. You are children of the light and children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. Therefore let us sleep, as do others, but let us watch and be sober. For they that sleep, sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night.
So let's start right there. So notice that it say that he gonna come like a thief in the night, right? And notice that we heard that it was a what? A cry when? When it said it was a cry in Matthew 25, a cry at midnight. So now we seeing that right there say he gonna come as a thief in the night, and we see that cry is at midnight. So now we seeing he said he gonna come as a thief, and we see that we're gonna see that it's other places that it say when he come, he's gonna come at night and he gonna come as a thief. So when we look at that, how can we tie this back into him saying he's gonna come as a thief in the night? When they say that he's gonna be a thief,
He's not gonna let them come in the house. That's not of his seed.
that he's not gonna let what? The people that's not of his seed come into the house. But we gotta think, what's that first letter right there?
So the whole walk gather.
Right. So, all right, you close. So
He gonna gather those seeds.
no, because where he gathering us to?
He gathering us some land.
He gathering us back into his house, because we already know in my father's house there are many mansions. So we already know that he's coming to prepare a place for us. We're gonna see that back at when we look at Matthew 25, the virgins. It say he allowed them to come into the house. And the other virgins that was foolish, what? They can't come into the house, right? We're looking at that. Let's go to Revelations chapter 16. And let's read that at verse 15.
Behold, I come as a thief. Baruch is he that watch and keep his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame.
Right, so now we're saying that he coming as a thief and we got to be watching. And then we look at that, let's tie that back into when he say that it's going to be that cry. That's 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. Let's look at that. So we see that 1 Thessalonians 5, it say he going to come like a thief in the night. And then in Revelation, it say he going to come like a thief in the night. And let's look at what 1 Thessalonians 4 say, 4 and 16.
For the master himself shall descend from Shamahim with a shout and with the voice of an arch Malachim and with the trumpet Elohim, and the dead in Mashiach shall rise first. Then which we are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the master in the air, and we shall ever be with the master. Wherefore comfort one another with these words.
So look, now we're seeing that cry or that shout is him coming like a thief in the night. So when we see that him coming as a thief in the night, it's the same way when we see the variations of the shepherd. When we look at it being a good shepherd, the shepherd that's going to give us the insight and walk before us and lead us, and that's going to speak of the seed or teach the seed of the righteous the ways to get to everlasting life. This thief, him coming as a thief in the night, is going to be coming to gather his seed into the house. And how we gonna know that we're his seed? We just seen it in 3 different verses. Him saying that what? We supposed to be doing what? What they supposed to be doing?
Keeping watch.
Watch. Exactly. Keeping watch. Keeping watch on guard. He said we're not children of the night. We children of the day. So it's showing you that, not talking about literally being up, of course, but we supposed to be watching. And that means at any time being prepared. And that go back to having everything in subjection. Your heart and your mind and your body. Because at any time this man coming, and if you don't have everything together, you couldn't be watching. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not going to be ready when he comes. So do you want this man to come and not gather you and count you as the seed of his son and gather you into the house? Because if you don't let him be able to gather you into the house, the other thief going to carry you away from the house. You understand? Because the other thief or yourself, you allowed yourself to do that, is going to carry you away. So that when he come to gather his people, you're not going to be able to be gathered. You understand? Let's go back to Matthew 25. And I'm going to tie this back into what we read with that one, with the thief, and I'll be finished. Let's read that. Verse 10.
And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. Afterwards came also the other virgins, saying, Master, Master, open unto us. But he answered and said, Truly I say unto you, I know you not. Watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man come.
All right. So we see that these ones that weren't ready, he said he do not know them. So that go back to what we read, saying that the thief gonna be ashamed. And we can see that because the thief is ashamed because they're going to see that when it's time to come, they're not going to be counted worthy. Because when he come back, he going to see them as he is, and he going to see their nakedness because they're going to be shamed. So you got to look at it the same way. You can't be caught out here and him coming, he say he don't know you, especially if you saying that you profess this man's word and you get out here caught like a thief in the night and you're not able to come into this man's house. You understand that?